Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for Monday, June 18th, 2012. It is currently almost 8 a.m. and we're dealing with some variable to overcast cloud cover throughout the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area and areas of rain over central Pennsylvania. Will that reach the northern mid-Atlantic? We'll talk about that in a moment. Temperatures are pretty much where they're supposed to be for this time of year, ranging from the mid-50s over portions of the interior to the lower 60s over southeastern Pennsylvania. Again, there's some variable cloud cover throughout the region as we have some low and mid-level clouds lingering over the northern mid-Atlantic, and some of this cloud cover will burn off and some of this cloud cover will be hanging around. So let's get to the forecast. Right now we're going to take a look at the radar, and you're looking at this area of rainfall and you're thinking to yourself, Stephen, why don't you have rain in the forecast? It looks like this rain is going to move through central Pennsylvania and move right into the northern mid-Atlantic. Well, not so fast. There's a reason why this rainfall is not going to reach the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. And the reason why can be seen in the water vapor satellite picture. Right now what I have is the water vapor satellite picture and the mid and upper level winds associated with this upper level pattern. Now notice we have high pressure lingering right along the coast. We have a rather interesting upper level disturbance and upper level low setting over the Atlantic, and that's producing a northerly wind right along the coast at the mid and upper levels. Meanwhile, we have a disturbance moving through the Great Lakes and into the eastern Great Lakes and St. Lawrence River Valley. And you can see the winds associated with that upper level disturbance is from the west. Well, when you have winds converging like this from the north along the coast and from the west over central Pennsylvania, you end up with two different types of setups. You end up with what's called divergence aloft, where the wind is moving fast and diverging and splitting apart. And you have convergence along the coast, where the wind is basically converging from the north and from the west, and you're piling in a great amount of mass or atmosphere into one location, which happens to be the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. Now when you do that, what you end up with is sinking air, and sinking air prevents precipitation. So while there will be plenty of clouds over the northern mid-Atlantic today, breaks of sun and clouds throughout the day, I don't think we'll see any precipitation because the sinking air that is developing over the northern mid-Atlantic and will continue on through tomorrow will prevent rainfall from basically developing and moving into the region. At the same time, we're seeing an upper level ridge starting to basically grow over the Mississippi River Valley. And that upper level ridge and mid-level ridge, which can be seen at the surface with this warm front here, is going to eventually overwhelm this pocket of cooler air and basically ram right into the northern mid-Atlantic. You'll see warmer temperatures tomorrow in the upper 70s to mid-80s, and then we head into our heat wave, and that's why I said heat wave, for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even into Saturday with above normal temperatures and rather impressive humidity levels. The heat index, as we head into the middle part of this week, is going to easily push to, or if not over, 100 degrees. So let's take a look at the infrared satellite picture, and you can see the cloud cover, really the lifting. Now you could tell where the lifting is by the temperatures of the cloud tops. And when you see blues and yellows and oranges, that means we're having a tremendous amount of lifting. You can see that lifting developing over the Atlantic, and you can see that lifting developing over the Great Lakes with an impressive area of thunderstorms. But notice over the northern mid-Atlantic, as this cloud mass moves to the east, that lifting starts to fall apart and you end up with warmer clouds, which means less lifting. So as a result, what I'm expecting is variable cloud cover, but not much, if any, precipitation at all throughout the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. The further east you go, the more likely you'll see some sunshine for this afternoon. The further west, towards the Philadelphia metropolitan area in eastern Pennsylvania, the more likely you'll see overcast skies. So that's pretty much your forecast for today, for this afternoon. Sun and clouds, temperatures basically ranging from the lower to mid 70s as we have a southeasterly wind at the surface. Now let's take a look at the forecast for the northern mid-Atlantic, and this is going to be pretty interesting as we move in for the rest of the week. Again, here's our upper level pattern for this evening. You see our ridge starting to take control and build in towards the northern mid-Atlantic. That disturbance that moves through the eastern Great Lakes this morning collapses and just does not influence the northern mid-Atlantic at all. And in fact, you can see at the mid-levels, plenty of dry air is in place at the mid-levels. That's going to prevent any precipitation from moving into the northern mid-Atlantic. By tomorrow evening, that ridge will be in full control, and you can see at all levels of the atmosphere, we're going to have a southeasterly wind. The warmest temperatures are still focused over the Ohio River Valley, so that's why we're still going to be in the 80s. However, thereafter, it's going to warm up big time with a powerful ridge at all levels of the atmosphere, producing a south to southwesterly wind. That's going to transport plenty of hot and humid air from the Gulf Coast right into the northern mid-Atlantic. 850 millibar temperatures will easily support temperatures in the upper 80s to lower 90s along the coast, and lower to mid 90s away from the coast, with humidity being in the 60s and 70% range. That's going to lead to, well, the heat index pushing pretty close, if not over, to 100 degrees, leading to heat warnings likely being issued, and heat watches are already being issued for the Philadelphia metropolitan area. Heat warnings will likely be issued for the Philadelphia metropolitan area, and heat advisories possibly for the New York City metropolitan area. So it looks like it's going to get pretty hot and humid, and let's not forget hazy, for Wednesday and Thursday. Now there's a question for Friday. The GFS is a little bit more, let's just say, aggressive with a cold front for Friday. The reason why I'm not as aggressive is because the rest of the model guidance, the GFS, the Canadian model guidance, the UK Met, for example, all these model guidances suggest that on Friday, the bulk of the lifting and the bulk of the cold air transport is going to be focused more over New England and the eastern Great Lakes rather than the northern mid-Atlantic. So while I expect a cool down in temperatures, if you can call it that, into the mid-80s to lower 90s, I don't expect a complete drop of temperatures into the lower to mid-80s like the GFS is suggesting. So look for variable cloud cover once again for Friday. Humid conditions for sure. There's definitely not going to be a drop in humidity, but temperatures will be a little bit cooler in the mid to upper 80s along the coast and upper 80s to lower 90s over the interior. That all changes, of course, by Saturday night into Sunday. We have a more powerful cold front moving through the region. That cold front on Sunday will finally knock temperatures back towards normal in the upper 70s to lower 80s throughout the northern mid-Atlantic. However, the hazy, hot, and humid weather conditions are expected to continue into Saturday. Again, slightly cooler than what we're seeing on Wednesday and Thursday, but still temperatures in the mid-80s to lower 90s on Saturday. And then Sunday, we fall back into the upper 70s to the lower 80s. Throughout this entire forecast period, keep an eye out there for fog. Fog is going to be a threat in the morning hours, and it could be locally dense. So take some extra time to travel for the morning hours, for your morning rush hour, because that's going to be a bit of a threat with all this humidity in the air. Well, that is your forecast discussion for today. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. You can follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a great day. Stay safe out there.